What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we had a big trading range and a lot of volatility has picked up. It's very rare to see the volatility blow up like this. We don't get much days like this, but it was fairly volatile day. For majority of the time it was a trading range day, and later on we turned into this downtrend that started pretty much here after the bulls didn't really push the market higher right here. It was fairly obvious that we might be continuing going lower and lower. But when we are trading range like this, and it is this volatile, obviously we want to identify the key levels. The top key level was fairly easy to identify. You can see the resistance right here, which came into play later on right here. The bottom key level was found after some price action has passed already. And you can see the perfect price action. We're working up lower. We have a break, new low, pullback, and a second leg to a new low. I mean, we made a higher low, a nice reversal bar, and you can see what it ended up to. But I want to talk about how to trade the day like this, because obviously we want to sell the highs and buy the lows. Nevertheless, that's not really that simple, because it is very big. It is multiple points. This is 50 points of a trading range. So there are big trends in between. So you can be buying in the middle. You no longer have to be afraid to buying and selling in the middle, because there are downtrends and uptrends in the middle, in between the range. So you have to play the trend rules as well, not just focus on the support and resistance lines, because you're going to wait a long time before it will get there. There are big trends in between. So I like to focus and play those trends out. And early on, this is all a pre-market open session, so I didn't mark any trades around here, but you can see the trend line working lower, break, 2 legs to a new low. We found the low, perfect price action, reversed from here. We are working up higher. We have a break and a new high, and we found a resistance up in here. Just a reminder, if you can see this trend line right here, and this is the beauty of our job as a scalpers, because you can see if you have entered right here from the bounce of the trend line, we have a break and a new low, and you enter right here. This is multiple points. This is like 6 to 7 points, so you would have easily gotten scalped out over here and have a winner. So this is why I love scalping, because we don't care whether the market goes up and down. We can make money either way, and that's fantastic. Nevertheless, we broke the trend line, this massive trend line right here, and we have a new high right here. We have a quite big spike up, and we found a resistance. So as the price action rules of the trend lines are telling us, we have a break and a new high, so this bullish uptrend should be played out, and we are finding a resistance at the top. So from this point on, I was really looking for some sort of short setup. Even though this is looking fairly bullish, it already played out, and the resistance is definitely confirmed. This is a key level. Nevertheless, we have a new high right here, pullback, first entry long, pullback, second entry long that failed. Nevertheless, this is a horrible signal bar. This is a big bullish bar. The next bar is gigantic bearish, and we didn't even trigger lower. And the reason why I like this trade, this is like a third entry long that failed, which is not really the thing. But the key here is that the failed second entry long didn't really have a good signal bar. The first signal bar was horrible. This is a bullish signal bar. The second bar was gigantic bearish bar. We didn't trigger lower. So there was really no way to enter here. So I like this nice bearish pin bar, reversal bar, and it is a second entry. You can see tiny little push right here and here, new low right here, pullback first entry, pullback second entry. So this is second entry short, nice reversal bar. We're coming off the highs of the trading range, and it is still some sort of form of a failed second entry, even though it is not technically obviously a failed second entry long. I still treated it as an extension, because this really had no weight for me to enter, and probably I was taking a little bit some chances, but I like the trade. And you can see it stalled a little bit, and then market really up higher, and then we unfortunately we don't get much good setups. We have a nice bearish reversal bar right here, gigantic, very tempting. Look at this, but this is just a first entry. It is just a first entry. The trend line is in play. So if the trend line is, if the prices are still inside of a trend line, I at least want to see a second entry. So I'm looking for higher probability setups, and this is just not it. Even though it's very nice off the key entry point, it's just a first entry inside of a trend line. I mean, we cannot take this even if we want to, but the market context is definitely, you know, in our favor. Going short here is good, but we want to wait for higher probability setups. So we are trading now lower, and you're expecting for prices to go down here, just like we went from up here to down here, from down here to up here, once again from down here to up, from up here to down here. Just you're expecting for prices to get lower, but it didn't happen, and I was quite surprised here. We bounce here, we have a new low right here, pull back, first entry short, we're working up higher, we go through EMA, pull back, second entry short. This is would be close to reversal pattern. It would have worked, but we cannot take this because we still don't have a new low of this downtrend. This is just a first break of this downtrend. So even though there's a failed 2 attempts by the bears to roll that market lower, which is what we want to see when we are looking for a reversal pattern, it's not, the downtrend hasn't played out yet. So we cannot jump the gun too early. You just have to sit this one. But take a look how price action is reacting next to EMA. Since we have a break, you're expecting to make a new low, but take a look. You have a new high right here, pull back, first entry long, and EMA is holding prices nicely. And this is now indication that there is something happening here, because EMA held prices here, which is okay. It is a failed second entry short, but then we should have railed up lower, which we didn't. We made a support, and then we have a second entry long, first entry long, second entry long. Look how nice the EMA is holding prices. So I think this is a good trade according to our rules, because at this point on, there are multiple attempts to go lower and make a new high, and EMA is holding prices every single time. So you can see the bears are really struggling to push the market lower. We didn't close below EMA not once. And unfortunately here, for whatever reason, you just had to take a loser here, because prices few ticks lower, reversed, and railed up exactly where you thought it was gonna go. And this is why you have to be emotionless in trading. If you got stopped out here on a good second entry long on the EMA, you just got stopped out here. The next bar, beautiful bullish reversal bar off the EMA, off the potential trend line, setting up the trend line. You have to re-enter here, and you have to not be afraid, because what will happen most of the time, they will take a loser right here, and they will be scared because they will be still in pain in that state of mind, and they will be scared to enter right here because they don't want to get double trapped. So they will take a loser here and miss this trade right here. So they will have a loser and miss a winner, which will completely mess you up mentally. So you have to completely accept losers and stay emotionally cold. You have to be cold. So this is a first entry long, second entry long that failed. Just a little trap that sometimes happens in price action. But if you re-enter right here, you got all that money back with the runner, and you know, made even more. But at this point, EMA is definitely holding prices, and you can see the bullish bias is starting to happen. You're working up higher. You have a similar pattern right here. You have a downtrend, first leg down, pull back, second leg down, big bullish pin bar off the trend line. This set up the trend line, this confirmed the trend line. EMA is putting up higher. Take a look how EMA is putting up higher. The trend line is valid. You have a break and a new low, two-legged pullback to the trend line, to the key entry point. This is what we want to see. Nice bullish bar according to our rules going long here. High probability setup. Once again, we are nicely coming up and down, up and down. This is what we want to see. This is a good sign that the trend line and trend channel line is valid. When we are starting to not get in close enough to the higher trend line, you can see we're a little bit wavering. This is the perfect trend channel, what we want to see. Nicely touching the highs, touching the lows, up and down, up and down. Just wait for the second entries and the breaks and a new low. And this will happen right here. We are working up lower. We have a tiny little break and a new low right here. Once again, bullish bar, confirm the trend line key entry point. I mean, once again, according to our rules, we have to take, we cannot ignore this key entry point. And once again, EMA is still pointing up higher. And there was a little bit, I was quite surprised we didn't have a new high here. Just like we don't have a new low right here, which eventually did happen, because you can see we have a break and a bigger low. But I'm very surprised that a trend like this didn't have a new high. But it is not uncommon, because this is what happens in trading ranges. Sometimes in trading ranges, when you go up, down, there is not enough power to make the new extremes. So this was a little bit of the case today. Nevertheless, we still have to adapt. So we have a break right here. We are now in a downtrend working up lower. We have a break. So what we are looking for, we're looking for a new low, but we're at the same time we are having an uptrend right here. So we have an uptrend, break, new high. So this uptrend has played out. So we can now go safely short, but there is really no setup to go short, unfortunately, because we have a first entry short, pullback, second entry short, even though it would have worked. Not a great signal bar inside of the trend line, and then you just get above the EMA, and you are still now a little bit wondering if we will make a new high of this bigger trend channel working up higher. So there is no setup right here. Once again, you're working lower. You have a second entry short right here, which is a good entry. I like the way we triggered higher and traded up lower, but it is not near close to the key entry point. It's not close to the trend line, to the any sort of trend line that is you can possibly eyeball. It's not close to the EMA. It is very tempting though. The market is starting to look very weak. So I will mark it for the sake of being second entry and such a nice trap, because you can see this bullish reversal bar, and it looked like we have a break, potentially new low, and people are trying to go long at the middle of trading range like this. And when they get trapped like this, it's very tempting. Nevertheless, this was the trade that I like, and I like it for the reason because this is just a first entry, but the reason why I'm okay with taking this, because it is a fell break higher. You can see we are now going sideways. This is a clear congestion. We fell break lower and a fell break higher. So in and downtrend now. The bias is bearish, and I like going short on this downtrend. It's a fell break higher of this congestion. You can see clear fell break higher, and this is a clear congestion. We're working up lower right here. And you can see at this point on, it's starting to get very overwhelming. This is why I like to trade as early as I can right after the open, because market's starting to get very overwhelming and there's starting to be multiple patterns. So if my advice to you, just try it. Try to trade as early as you can, and just try to trade for 2 hours, 2-3 hours, and see how you will go. But at this point on, you're working up lower, and I found this channel working up lower. We have a fell break lower of the bigger trading range, and you can see the support is right here. We broke lower, we pushed back just like you expect to. And this is what the major information today happened. This was all the rally up that we managed to do. And take a look how it's different compared to any other rally up higher. Look how big those legs are working up higher. Gigantic pushes up higher, and here gigantic pushes up lower. And this is not really, you can see that there are almost no bulls in the market with significant buying power going long here. There's just tiny little pullbacks to go higher and higher, and every single time you get slapped on their hand. So after this point on, this is all we made. Look how big the trading range is, and look how far we went. This is almost nothing. This is such a tiny little move up. Once we broke lower right here, now it's okay to be thinking short. Now the fell break lower will not probably happen, because it happened right here, and this was all the power we had. And then we instantly sold off. So now from this point on, right here, as it happened right here, or even right here, it was starting to get obvious that the bears are in control. But since we broke the support right here and we didn't look back, we are now in a downtrend. So I didn't take this trade, but I took this trade. This was my last trade that I took today. And I'm going to show you what I was looking at the time. And at this point on, where we're working up lower right here, you are now switching into downtrend rules. You now have to abandon the trading range rules, because we have a fell break that worked. This is all we had, and the fell break now, it's no longer to be expected, because this was all the bullish rally that we had, and now we are switching into downtrend. You can see the downtrend, how it's starting to be a little bit prevalent. So we have a new low right here, first entry short, pullback, second entry short. I only marked it if you had a better signal bar on your chart, because if you refresh your chart, every single time you refresh your chart, you can get slightly different signal bar. So this is a second entry short at the key entry point with the break and a double top attempt to make a new high. This was the better trade. Once again, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, and now we're starting to get into that vibe that is very beginner friendly. Now the second entries are starting to work. Now we're in a downtrend. Now almost every this correction have a break and a new high. This is what we want to see. This is the textbook price action. So even though if you're unsure during the day what's gonna happen, just stay patient. There are gonna be almost every single day, there are 2, 3, 4 setups that are almost too easy for you to trade. But you just have to be patient and you have to be emotionally stable when the setups occur, because when you're getting chopped into pieces in the middle of the range and you just see these nice second entry shorts at the key entry point, but you are emotionally scarred because you have few losses right here, you're not going to take these trades and you're going to get even more frustrated. So work on your mental side, stay patient. If you're not sure, stay patient, because good setups, they will come and you need to be ready for these. Just like if you didn't do anything throughout the entire day and you see it in your hands, once we turn into this downtrend, it's fairly easy to play. And this is the probably easiest setup of the day. New low right here, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, nice bearish reversal bar, key entry point. Look how well it worked. Then we're starting to kind of go into a little bit sideways trading range, but I was looking at some bigger. There is a possibility. There's possibility that there is this some sort of channel working up, which may be valid. I mean, definitely look at like it's probably going to be valid. There's definitely some bigger pattern. And there's also what I was looking at the time was right here, this swing, this pivot, and this pivot. Oh, actually I have it a little bit steep. This is why I like, this is why I like taking this second entry short, new low right here, first entry short, pullback, second entry short, bearish reversal bar, and you can see how it's starting to be nicely, it's fitting the trend line. But it was just me playing that at the time, and it probably looks like it might be even valid looking at this like this. It fits here, it fits here. Let me drag it to the top. It fits even a little bit over here. Nevertheless, you don't really need a bigger pattern. It just helped me right here, and I took a guess at the very end of the day. But once again, second entry short right here, key entry point. We are still in a downtrend. This is now a first bullish rally that is happening. But overall, you can see high volatility day, big trading range, gigantic trading range. This was a 50-point trading range and a gigantic move down. How big was this sell-off? How big was this sell-off? 84 points. That's crazy. 84-point sell-off. So that's pretty ludicrous. Nevertheless, and I want to talk about this too. With me going for 10 ticks, for 10 tick ratio, I still, when I have a loser, I'm losing money if I go for 1-to-1. So for all of you guys who are trading for going for 1-point scalp, because it was hammered to your head since you started trading, just do the math, because the bars are very big, and even if I go for 10 ticks and I have a loser, I'm still not in 1-to-1. I still am losing a little bit more. So I cannot imagine if you're going for 4 ticks and you're just at this point on, you're just going for, one loser can wipe out your 3 winners at least, and that, that's absolutely crazy. So just when the day is volatile like this, try to remember what I was telling you and try to really listen to my advice. When the day is slowed down and you feel more comfortable going for the 1-point scalp because that's what you started with trading, you can do that. But when it's this volatile, you really cannot afford to go only for 1 point. You're leaving money on every single trade, on every single table, so to say. So just take that into consideration. I'm gonna wrap it up. It's Friday. Not easy day to trade for a lot of beginners because the market structure can get overwhelming, but you need to get the screen time and to experience. So have a safe weekend, and I see you guys in the next video.